Hey, what's up everybody? Dan with Rusted Out Revival Garage. Well, today's that day. I was waiting on my new batteries to come in for the camera. Was waiting on the new mic to come in so I could actually film this video. But today, we're going to try to attempt to get this 67 F100 to roar back to life. It's been sitting for 29 years and don't know if it'll run. But you know what? We're going to find out together on this episode of Rusted Out Revival Garage. Stay tuned. Alright everybody, we're back up underneath the hood here. One of the first things we have to do is we're going to have to get this old junk radiator out. It's definitely seen better days. Actually pulled the radiator support out, so I'm a little more off camera to make it a little easier to get this thing out. But let's get this out and let's start working our way around it, checking the oil, pull the plugs out, maybe shoot a little PD blaster in the cylinders. But let's get this old girl out. Well, you over. One radiator out. All right, so now we got the radiator out of the way, and what I want to start doing is I'm going to start pulling these plugs out to see actually how they look, maybe see what kind of condition the motor's in. Hopefully she's good, but hopefully we won't find no rust, and yeah, we'll see. Let's get to getting them out. Well, that was a little oily. Well, it's a little gummed up, but looks like the truck was running rich whenever it was running. So let's continue to pull these things out and see what we got. Well, that's not good. The electrode is in the plug wire still. That's the top of the spark plug. So, guess we're going to be putting other spark plugs in it. Yep, a little oily, running rich. And another electrode. Oh well, guess we'll be finding some more plugs to put in these things. Tip I've got stuck in the socket. The only thing that people ran back then was Autolite or Champion plugs and Quaker sludge oil. Yep, running rich. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take the other side out off camera and squirt some PB blaster into the cylinders, lube it up so that first start's not so brutal on the rings and pistons. So we'll be right back. I was able to get all the plugs out, and almost every one of them but two. The tips of the plugs came out, so I'm gonna have to round up some plugs to put in this. I think I got some I pulled out of the Fairlane's locked up motor that we can pop in this thing to try it out. But let's fill some of these cylinders up with some PB Blaster. And I don't have much, so, but some's better than nothing. All right, now that we got the cylinders partially lubed up, we'll take and remove this air cleaner, and then I'm gonna grab a battery, and we're actually gonna see if this old girl will spin over. Actually, I'm gonna hold off on the battery, and I'm gonna take and get a 15/16 socket, put down there on the crank, and just make sure she isn't stuck before we put power to it. So stand by. All right, I was able to find my extension and got my 15/16 socket. Actually, the other day I cut the belts on this, trying to get, I knew I was going to have to get the radiator out, knew we were going to have to do this, and I didn't want to fight against a locked up AC compressor or power steering pump, so I did already cut the belts off of it. So let's see if I can get down here and get around this stupid pent up fan, see if I can get on this bolt. Oh yeah, she's turning. So what we'll do is we'll put a battery to it, get it to spin over with the battery. And like I said, I already lubed the cylinders. So let's gear up a battery and let's put the power to it. And all right, so the other day when I was cleaning it out, we found this little piece of foam that was in the back, old boogie board. So I'm gonna stick this right here where the battery tray used to go, and maybe it'll hold enough for a battery, or at least pull it up where I can put the battery in it. Whew. These cables have seen better days. All right, let's hit this solenoid and see if she'll spin over. Yeah, I can already tell that these cables are going to be a problem. We've just got, yeah, I don't even see how they started this thing when it was new or when it was being driven, let alone being this old. So let's hit this solenoid and see what happens. Well, she spins over freely, but I can already tell I'm going to need to replace these cables just that little bit. These jokers are already hot. So let me see if I can scrounge up some cables and put them on here and see if we can get this thing turned over a little bit better. I just don't think we got good connection through these cables, because I mean, look, they're just peeling apart. Well, off camera, I went and found some cables and went ahead and put them on. I didn't bother filming that. I mean, if you're watching this channel, you probably know how to put battery cables on. Plus, I had to fight with that one down by the starter, and about lost what little bit of religion I had today on that starter. Scraped up knuckles, hands. That's part of doing this. I always seem to bleed for my projects. Blood, sweat, and tears. Today, 115 degree temperature. Again, I am sweating, so I haven't shed no tears yet, but it's early on the game. But you know, just to show you what I'm dealing with these, all but 2 of the plugs that came right out. So like I said, I think I got some over at the old Fairlane. I'm gonna take and run and probably go grab them, clean them up. That way we can stick them back in here. Before I forget, and everybody says you didn't do it, oil. This truck's got oil in it, and it's full. And it's still got viscosity. Oil doesn't go bad, people. The contaminants in the oil, which it just smells old. Doesn't smell like fuel or anything, which I'm surprised because this thing is running. It did run rich according to the way the plugs look, but oil doesn't go bad. So when you're trying to take and get one of these trucks or cars back up and running, you know, I don't know if you've priced oil lately, but I want to buy 5 quarts of oil, not a whole barrel. And the crazy these prices have gotten, y'all, I'm poor, and not super poor, but poor. Without having an income right now, taking care of the wife, I can't afford to keep dumping oil and all that stuff into these. So right now that's good enough to get this truck running. There's other plans for this truck, so I'm not going to go and spend the money on buying brand new fresh oil and not even know whether this truck runs, how it runs, if it runs. So just like the plugs, I mean, cheap plugs now are $3 each. And so when you got 8 spark plugs, you do the math. It doesn't take long to accumulate a lot of money. This used to be a poor man's hobby. You could play around with these cars cheap, but there's nothing cheap about these cars anymore. These cars and trucks. Hey everybody, just want to jump in real fast. Yeah, oil can go bad. So let me explain what I was saying about oil not going bad. Oil can go bad by the contaminants that's in the oil. Whether it's by fuel getting into the oil, water, antifreeze, whatever can get in that oil. But I didn't smell no water in this one, and it's just old. Still have viscosity. So, and that's the thing is, oil itself will not go bad unless there's contaminants. So, I don't feel bad about using oil to try to start this old boat anchor. So, hey, I could have northwards of $100 bill trying to put plugs, plug wires, distributor cap, rotor button, and oil. But again, I just want to go at, so we now return you to your regularly scheduled programs. But again, deals are out there. You can shop around and even finding one for sale. There are deals still out there. It's just you have to search for them, and you're not going to find them screaming, in your face on Marketplace or eBay or Craigslist. You got to get out and beat the bushes. Some of my best buys have been through word of mouth. Word of mouth is huge if people know that you're into these things and looking for something. So, so again, that's just my little rant about oil and about costs. So, let's get these plugs out of the way, and let's get this air cleaner off. And I will tell you one thing I like about these 70s and Model 4 trucks. This area, not this area. This area is gone. It's like the Grand Canyon. It's pretty bad. But over here, solid. That's a good place to lay stuff, tools. I can't tell you that the trucks that I've had like these in the past, I've lost a lot of tools because I've left them right there and drove off without knowing that they were still there. So, mighty. She was on there, y'all. So, I'm not got high hopes for this carburetor. I don't have much luck with carburetors. Never have. So, well, took the old stud out. Oh yeah. We'll just shut that. Yeah, I'm not sure this carburetor is going to work to get it running. I do have another carburetor. If it doesn't, we can actually throw on there just to see if we can get it running and keep it running, if it even runs at all. So, all right, let's grab some plugs up here and get some plugs back in this thing and see if we can make sure that the points are firing and give this thing a try here in a few. All right, I was able to locate some spark plugs and got them cleaned up, got them gapped, and get ready to put them back in this motor here. Like I said earlier, you know, I could have went out and bought spark plugs for this thing, but you know, at $3 a plug, like I said earlier, it gets expensive. So let's get these old girls, these plugs in here, get them locked in, and get it one step closer. Once we get these in, I'm going to check for spark. They're in the distributor. I mean, you can go through all these tests, but what I'm going to do, since this has points, I'm going to just eyeball it, see if we've got spark, and if we've got spark, then that's what we're going to go with. You know, no sense in making it harder than it needs to be. You know, I'll probably have to scrape the inside of the cap on the contacts, get those good and clean. But hopefully, with just a little bit of effort, this thing's going to fire off. Like I said, don't have high hopes for that carb. She's looking pretty nasty. I don't have luck with Hollies anyway. I know there's some people that swear by them. I just don't have luck with them. Never have. I've mainly used the FORD factory carburetors on these, or an Edelbrock. I mean, my 70 Mustang Fastback, I do have a Holly on it. Got it new on Marketplace. It was a heck of a deal. I was having a problem with the carburetors on it. Popped it on there. It's runs fine. Trick to Hollies is just knowing how to tune them, and they can be temperamental at times. So let me get this other side in here, and then we'll come back and we'll check for spark. Now that we got the plugs back in, let's just go ahead and do it the easy way, and we'll turn this thing over. This points don't look too terribly bad, but we'll see if we got spark. Let me know if you see spark. Actually, we got spark coming from the coil wire, so. Yep, the coil wire is junk too, but good news is we do have spark at the point, so awesome. So let's get this put back together, and you know what, we may be ready to throw some gas in the carburetor and see if we can get the light off after I put some tape or find another coil wire for this thing. I got the distributor cap back on. We did get spark, so right now let's give it some gas, which that's probably too much, and let's see if this thing barks off. It's trying. Popping through the carburetor. That ain't good. She fired. She fired. Yeah. Didn't sound too good, but also that carburetor's junk. And yeah, that's going to be a stumbling point. So what's probably going to end up having to happen is me grab that other carburetor and put on here in a few. But let's try to get her fire up one more time. Well, I think we got a problem with this cable. Alright, let me work on this cable real fast and I'll be right back. Alright, what I did is I found another cable. See if I can get it right there. Yep, another cable. Because the one that I had on it, this one, these things are junk. I hate these ends. These things give me more grief, and they get loose and they lose connection. So I like using these pre-made cables. That cable right there, that pre-made cable. So yeah. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to fire off. All right, everybody, cable's back on. Let's see if we can get her fire off. If all goes well, hopefully this thing will fire right off. Yes, sir. But I can already see one issue I gotta take care of. I've actually got the transmission line broke off, where it broke off the radiator. So I need to go find me a piece of hose to loop off it so I don't blow all this transmission fluid out of here. So let me run and find a piece of hose and stay tuned. I got that transmission line looped off, and we're going to add a little bit more gas to this carburetor. See if we can get it to run for a few seconds. I'm going to trickle some fuel into the carburetor. I'm actually going to disconnect this fuel line just to make sure that it's not pumping old gas into that carburetor in case that fuel pump is working. I doubt it's working. Diaphragm's probably bad, but you never know. I've seen crazier things. everybody, you can see that she will run. She did run. I think one of the things that's against me right in a second is that carburetor. Plus, I don't know if you can hear it, but the transmission lines are got some pinholes in it, so I need to you know, loop that line further back, break it off, cut it off, and loop that line further back. So I think my next step is going to be to take that carburetor off, put that other carburetor that well, it was a known good working carburetor whenever I put it on there, so or took it off. Start this video back up in the morning. I've actually got to go inside and cook dinner for the missus and get cleaned up, cook dinner. So kind of running out of good light, and mama's first. Hey, welcome back everybody. It's actually the next day. Last night after I got done taking care of the wife, I went out and removed this old junk Holly. I knew that it was going to be a problem, but if you look, butterflies aren't even opening and closing. So shaft is stuck and it's actually broke. So it's junk. Had one in the garage, ended up taking and putting it on last night. Didn't get to film it. It got too dark. No good lighting, especially being outside here. So got it on and haven't even tried starting it yet. Just bolted it on, went inside. So let's get set up and see if we can actually get this thing fired back off. All right, so we're back underneath the hood here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna fill this bowl up with gas. Fill the carburetor up with gas and put some power to it and see if she roars to life. Just gonna fill this bowl up here through the vent. Of course, I'm getting gas all over the place as usual. We'll get it filled up and hopefully she'll light off. You know, when I started the other day, I didn't have it run long enough, but there's no oil pressure gauge in this truck. So it's very basic. It has a temp gauge and a fuel gauge. And so yeah, there's nothing on here to show the oil pressure. Well, it ran for a minute. Let's give it a little more fuel in that bowl because it ain't gonna run long without fuel in this bowl. Yeah, I disconnect that line to that gas tank because 30 years of whatever's in that gas tank ain't no good. So just filling it and running off this bowl. Yes, sir. I think we got us a runner. She ain't running the greatest. Well, she runs. She runs. That just goes to show you that if you got fuel, spark, compression, it will run no matter how long it's sat. You know, this motor, I love these small block Fords. Like small block Chevrolet, they just will take a lot of abuse, and especially these old Windsor Fords. They love, well, they're good motor. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. But you know, we could spend the time and money and effort. You know, new points, new plugs, new plug wires. new carburetor, rebuild, 4-barrel intake, something like that. But I may have, like I explained to y'all in the last video, I'm giving this truck to my son, passing that torch. And he's already got a roller motor, 5.0 roller motor that we're going to be putting in this truck, which will be some future content. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time and money on this motor itself. This will be a motor we pull out and can possibly use it as a core for a rebuild or another project. We get another car and that needs a motor, we can clean this thing up and go to town with it. So let's see if she'll bark off one more time. Well, actually, she's probably out of gas from running here from that second go, because it don't take long to run the bowl out long enough. So let me put some fuel back in it. It's a hot one today, and I'm out here filming. Definitely a glutton for punishment. So, what do we learn today? It runs. It might not run the best in the world, but she runs. And we've got really no money into it. A little bit of money for fuel that I put down the carburetor, and that's it. Yeah, I had to ditch that other carburetor, and but I had one on the shelf. Had to take and clean some old set of spark plugs. But hey, again, stuff I had, I made do with it. We got her to run. Wrench therapy. That's what I call it, wrench therapy. Get out there, turn some wrenches. Quit sitting on your butt and get out there and do it. These things don't build themselves. They don't run and drive themselves without help from you. Bringing these old girls back to the road, look, guys, they don't build them no more. Once they're gone, they're gone. This truck, if I wouldn't have picked it up the other day, it'd already be in the scrap yard, being made into razor blades. But again, that's about getting out there saving them. Word of mouth is your best friend. People that know that you're interested in this stuff, they'll go looking for you. If you like the content that I'm putting out, please like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost a dime. It means the world to me. Trying to build this channel, trying to make good content, working with this new camera, wireless mics. Hopefully from my very first video, which this is actually only my 4th video per se, hopefully there's already an improvement. I know I've been having issues with sound. I had an old GoPro that did not have an external mic, so hopefully this mic is going to help out. Trying to get used to this camera. It does some funky auto-focusing things that I'm not used to. Got to work on the editing. But you know, hey, just trying to make good content for you, the viewer, and hopefully you'll find my content worthy enough to where you'll subscribe. Again, it means the world to me. Like Restoration says, you know, he just wants to know what he has to do to be worthy of your subscription. Again, I'm not trying to emulate another channel. I'm not trying to copy these other guys. I'm just Danny doing what Danny does. If I didn't have this camera pointed at me filming this, I'd still be working on this old junk. You know, but what's one man's junk is another man's treasure, and you know, these are my treasures. So this old girl, I'm probably going to do one more video on this series. That'll be coming out probably in a few days. But as far as spending money, I'm not going to spend no more time or effort on this motor. My son's getting this truck. He's got a lot of plans for it. We've got another motor to actually put in it. We've got a 5.0 roller motor from an Explorer that we're going to drop in it. So there'll still be content with this truck. It's just it's going to be his truck, not mine anymore. And again, she's not going nowhere. This is the truck that started the channel. This is kind of the mascot of the channel. I appreciate it. You know, it means the world to me. Please like, share, and subscribe. It only takes a second. And again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from Rusty Out Revival Garage. Thank you. Have a great day.